Hello and welcome to today's boss guide and 20-hour loop video on the Corporeal Beast. You will learn how to prepare an AFK loadout and all required material to do so with minimal effort and setup. This is the slaughter of the Corporeal. Welcome to your primary loadout. First thing you're going to be looking at is that we're going to be actually using the raid gear, the Terralith melee armor, alongside with the Masterwork spear. We're going to go into the intricacies of the inventory later on in the video, but the main thing is that you're going to be requiring the raid gear alongside setting up the ability bar as such. Secondary loadout, if you do not own Terralith gear, you can use Primal +5. The only difference is that you do not get the set effect of the raid gear, which allows you to get the debilitation resets, but it is still worthwhile and usable if you do not have the raid gear available. We're going to work from left to right. So starting off, we got your inventory. You got your prayer potions, poison ++, 2 of them, kinetic cyclone, nexus for darkness. You have super prayer renewals. You have quorum sticks, penance powder, magic notepaper, cannonballs, ancient ritual shard for prayer renewal. And you also have an extra sailfish or rocktail for emergency food if needed. The penance powder and the scripture of vampirism are highly needed, and they are hard requirements actually, alongside with the kinetic cyclone, because you need all 3 of these to make this AFK. If you do not have them, the problem is you end up losing either too much health, you don't have enough prayer. You want to use darkness and soul split only, no extra prayers of this, because you will not be sustaining enough prayer throughout the entire fight. And then you can see the relics on screen. The only optional relic is Fear the Small. So why the raid equipment? Usually you don't see raid equipment in loadouts or requirements for guides. Main reason why is because when you have a set effect of 3 or more, when you are damaged, there is a chance for all cooldowns to be reset. And main thing that we have on the bar is Debilitate. Debilitate offers a great defensive, and it's required for this guide. Corp has a pretty extensive drop table, but these are your main chase items. You got the Corporeal Bone, which is the pet. You have the sigils alongside the common loot being cannonballs, white berries, and the Onyx Bolts E. Let's get into it. So now that you're all kitted out and ready to roll, first thing I'm going to show you is how to preset and start your hour. So the inventory is mostly set up so that you can do it for an hour. You can kind of adjust it so that you can stay here for 2 hours and extend your aura. However, this is mostly based on a 1-hour interval. So just like pretty much any other PVM encounter, you're going to want to put all of your buffs on before. Only buff we don't have that, like normal, really is overloads. So pretty much start everything on the outside of the instance before you enter the room. And now we're going to show you where you want to stand when you enter the room. First thing you want to do is surge to the spot shown on screen. You're going to want to make sure you surge into this direct spot, because you're going to have to set up the cannon in another spot. And this will put you pretty much like right into the spot you want to go to first. So step 1, surge, takes you towards the center of the room, a little bit past this first grave. Next, to the left, you want to bladed dive, hit the circle on the ground. You'll bladed dive to this portion, and it will put you in the perfect spot to set up your cannon. Once you are in position, you are able to set up your cannon and then double check all of your buffs. Make sure you have everything popped, you have everything good to go. Once you have the cannon set up, you can click underneath the cannon, walk under, and you are now in position. And you'll pretty much be sitting in the same exact spot for the entire hour. This is what your buff bar should look like when you are doing your hour. If it does not look like this, you are missing a buff, and you have to double check what you are using. If you are not using all of these buffs all at the same time, you will not be able to sustain yourself. From here, you can fully AFK for about 6 minutes. That's the duration of your super prayer renewal, and you need to keep your super prayer renewals up the entire time so that you don't have any downtime, and you keeps all of your stats pretty much up, kind of like how it shows here in the video. And this is what it'll look like. It'll slowly drain, and that's actually why we want to make sure we only use soul split and no any other damage boosting items, because the prayer drain is just so much that there's nothing there to sustain you for it. But if you end up just using the super prayer renewal, you'll end up at a pretty decent spot. There may be an instance where you may have missed some of your buffs while you were doing your hour, and this is an example of what you would look like if you were to die. Now, because you have the legendary pet out and it's retrieving your items, there is a perk on there that if you do die, it'll just pull you to safety, kind of like a Ring of Life. There is an alternative that you could use if you do not want to use the Terralift and tank armor. You may use the Vestment of Havoc set. You can see the loadout here on screen. This is from the PVME Discord. I have tried this one. I have not been able to get it to work where I can fully AFK for like an entire hour without dying. And the best one I ever got was I got like 45 minutes into one and then I just died because I just ran out of prayer or I was just taking too much damage all of a sudden. Because sometimes Corp can hit pretty hard, like do 2-3 Ks back to back to back, but it has really good DPS. It kills per hours is very good, but the main problem here is it's less reliable for AFKing, and you're more likely to die, and that can cost you money, cost you time. And if you're doing this at work or something, or if you're doing this when you're like cleaning the house, it's not going to be as AFK. You're not going to be able to do it as consistently as the tank armor and or the primal armor setup. Now, Corp's pretty fun. Once you get it set up, I enjoy doing these long grinds, and I was able to bag myself some sigils, which are one of my main items that I was searching, because when I started this grind, I had no sigils, and I was I knew this was going to be a pretty long grind because it gets Corp, right? It's like the very first time when long grinds were introduced to the game when it comes to boss logs, and so I was able to bag myself an Ellie sigil and then a Divine sigil today while I was editing the video, so that's actually pretty cool. So you can both see both of those on screen. I actually even managed to get a second sigil within like 200 kills of each other. Unheard of. Absolutely insane luck right there. Never seen it before. YouTuber luck. And then also, because I was doing this grind on my phone, I was actually able to pick up the pet at around 740 kills. I don't have any screenshots. I wasn't able to get anything, but I do in fact have the pet as well. You'll see it at the end of the video with the loot. And this is honestly one of the best things. One of the really intriguing parts of this is that as I'm going for final boss, this is one of those very few grinds that I still have that are AFKable, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to be kind of sad when I've finished it up. So now this is the overall loot from all of our corporeal kills. So we have done approximately about 20-25 hours worth of it. I have not been able to track because it's been constantly on and off of how much I've been doing it, but this is the most accurate sense of how much loot I have. I've sold very, very minimal, and I also do PVM in between and corpse shares drop tables with a lot of items like the onyx bolts, the cannonballs, but this is the most accurate that I could keep it. I use the rune metrics drop log to catch most of these, and the blue charms are accurate because none of the bosses I have been doing currently have been dropping blue charms, maybe give or take 100 or so, but a lot of these charms have come from this grind, and it's been absolutely insane the amount. So if you're going for 120 summoning, this is a really good grind to get on before you get onto 120 summoning and getting all those charms that you need to do. So let's roll into the price check. We're gonna go through and do some of the common stuff, like the outlier items that people don't usually get. We're going to add in those elixirs, get the spirit shields in there because they're not really all that high. Only rocking about like 4.2 mil for 6 elixirs. And then add all these horrible, horrible stone spirits. Hate them. Remove them from the game. They're not worth anything. Look at 90k for 2.6k of those things. Absolute garbage. Everything else is though pretty good. Nice price check so far. All the obscure common loot, 22.6 mil, not too shabby. Add in the white berries. These are more chunky of a price, doubling our total price check up to 44.7 mil. Not too bad. I'm liking it so far. Add in the rune bolts, about 3.4 mil. I thought it was going to be a little bit more going into this, but let's get these big ticket items in here. The onyx bolts E, a whopping 49.6 mil, adding almost doubling our total price check so far. Absolutely insane. Now let's add in these 49,000 cannonballs for a grand total of 167 mil, 69.6 mil added to the price check. Absolute powerhouse. These guys are very useful, very good for Iron Man, very good for you in general in case you do any of these big grinds. Add in the sigils, the Elijah sigil going for 21.7 mil, and the divines, a pitiful 9.5 mil. These things used to be worth billions of gold like 80 years ago, but I guess they're not worth anything now. Might as well just alk it. A whopping 208 mil price check for our long grind of AFK and Corporeal Beast. And of course, we got the pet as well, and we are clocked in at 2,573 kills. Thank you for watching. Like, sub, and catch you later.